I've got two different versions of each knife. Higher price premium ones, with upgraded materials, and then lower cost budget-ish versions that are more affordable. And we're gonna figure out if the more expensive ones are actually worth the money. I bought the titanium frame lock Elementum, right when it first came out because, well, it was such a huge upgrade over the original with the, titanium scales and 20 CV blade, but man, I wish I would have waited for the Elementum 2 because, well, it's $65 versus $176. For some reason, instead of giving the upgraded 20 CV blade a hollow grind like the original, they made it flat. Even though the cheaper version has a thicker handle, I like it more because Nitro V is a very good steel. The button lock, is way more fun to fidget with, and hey, thanks to the hollow grind, that blade is going to be thinner behind the edge. It's $129 versus $174, so $45 price difference for the Kaiser October. Now, the blade steel on both is 20 CV, so one costs more than the other because, well, it's a titanium frame lock versus a micarta liner lock. Even though a frame lock, is technically stronger than a liner, I've never had a lock fail on me, from regular everyday use. I like the micarta version more because it has a thinner handle, and as a lefty, I don't have to worry about how I'm holding it when I go to use the thumb hole. On the frame lock, if I'm putting pressure on that lock bar, that blade won't open, which really makes it tough to spidey flick. I mean, of course I like the look of the titanium more than the, bacon pattern on this micarta, but you know what? Functionally, I would go with the liner lock. You can get the Concept Model 6 in 3 different blade steels and like 4 or 5 different handle scales. Now, some might say they went a little overboard with all these options, but I like that they offer a budget, a mid, and a premium version. I wish more knife companies did this. The blade steel on both of mine is 20 CV, so the difference is going to be in the handle, the lock, and the pocket clip. It's $131 versus $223. Yeah, that's a $92 difference. The cheaper liner lock has shredded carbon fiber scales and a stamped steel pocket clip, with the premium frame lock has titanium scales, milled titanium clip. Just like the Kaiser October, the thumb hole is easier to use, the knife rides deeper in pocket, and believe it or not, the action is actually better because of a much stronger detent. You know what? Even though the liner lock has a slightly thicker handle, I do like it more, but since I have both, I usually carry it while I'm at home, and then I just grab the frame lock for going out. Hey, subscribe for knife reviews that get right to the point. You would seriously make my day. Now, I love the CJRB Pyrite, but I'm kind of tired of seeing these upgraded versions and the retailer exclusives with the same AR RPM 9 blade steel. Does paying more money for just a different handle material seem worth it? Sure, I like how it looks with the, the wood and bolsters, but you know what? If I could go back in time, I would not have picked up this exclusive, which actually had just the plain old steel body screws. So, hey, thanks to Kaiser, for all those screws that they send with their knives, I went and switched them all to the black ones. For about $200 on Artisan Cutlery's website, there was a limited run of versions with an S35 VM blade, and this one I bought an S90V, and man, in this instance, I'm glad I did, because it is a big step up from the AR RPM 9. At regular price, it's going to be $65 versus $135, which is a $70 difference for the Buck 112. And both have the same hollow ground clip point blade that cuts extremely well. Now, this was an easy choice. I mean, even though, Buck does a great job with their 420 HC steel, I gladly paid the extra money for the Sport with its S30V blade, the thumb studs, the pocket clip, and that lighter weight handle. Plus, it can be completely disassembled, which is huge for a knife design that's remained the same for so many years. If you don't mind how it looks, for a couple bucks, you could just slap on one of those quick thumb studs, which gives the old girl that fast open function. If the price of the Sport is a little out of your comfort zone, hey, I get it. Go with the Slim Select because you know what? It costs half as much as the original with the same 420 HC steel, has a thinner handle, weighs less, even has thumb studs and a pocket clip. Now at regular price, it's $42 versus $212, which is a whopping $170 difference for the Praxis. The Wii version, doesn't cost this much more just because of the upgraded S35 VN blade steel. I mean, that would be way overpriced. It's a full titanium frame lock with a much thinner handle and thumb studs, which is a game changer because, I think the Praxis should have had them all along. And keep in mind, the frame lock doesn't have a 2-position pocket clip like the original liner lock does. For me, the upgrades are worth the extra money because I absolutely love this thing and I do not regret buying it. But if you take away those thumb studs, I would need a lower price to justify pulling the trigger. I wonder how this would have worked with thumb holes. What do you think? I have 2 different versions of a bunch more knives. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up or, leave a comment. That way I'll know to go ahead and make some more. Hey, and check out this next video if you want to see some of the best knives on Amazon for under $70.